Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. So we finally got some official information on the Diablo 3 season of the Construct, as opposed to the leaked information that we went over yesterday. Let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer real quick, and then we'll hop into the information that they've given us. And tomorrow there's going to be the developer live stream, by the way, so be sure to show up for that.
Welcome, Wanderer. I sense that recent events have brought you to me. These are strange times indeed. Though many fear the inexplicable, I deal in it. And you seek answers. This will lead you to the knowledge you desire. Legends state this rune is the missing piece of an arcane construct. A mighty weapon capable of harnessing ancient power for the one strong enough to control it. But be warned, for the construct is buried deep beneath Kyrgyzstan in the ancient vaults of Zoltan Kul. Untouched for centuries, they are protected by deadly traps of Kul's own design, and guarded by his mechanical horrors. But the architect Zoltan Kul overestimated his cleverness. In his hubris, the mage abandoned his work, leaving darker forces free to corrupt his machinations and claim the vault's power for themselves. The answers await you in the depths. Take the rune, if you dare.
Alright, so Diablo 4 Season of the Construct, and they got like a cool, like a spinning globe-looking thing here, which of course is covered up by the by the preview. Now, they also released an article. This was on January 16th, so yesterday when I was at work, and this is going over some of the stuff that we already learned in the PC Gamer article. Ancient forces threaten Sanctuary aided by your Sensual companion, which is basically like a little robotic spider. Hazard the many traps and devastating constructs beneath the deserts of Kyrgyzstan. Deep beneath the swirling sands, elemental forces are amassing for malicious whims of the demon Malphus. Only by descending far below the surface will you be able to cull this cursed threat from its root. Season of the Construct begins on January 23rd at 10 a.m. PST, which is about 1 o'clock Eastern Standard, if you're interested. Of course, convert to your own time zone. Prepare to uncover the powerful secrets of Zoltan Kul's loom with a new dungeon type called Vaults, a seasonal robotic sensual companion, weekly leaderboards, and the gauntlet. Several key quality of life features, including almost constant HellTide events, arrive to help you aid your conquest while fighting in the vaults. They actually did the constant HellTide quests in Season 2. I guess they're just advertising that, basically. Unearth Zoltan Kul's legacy in a new quest line. I'm not a big fan of Zoltan Kul from Diablo 3. Not really. I think he's kind of a douche, but whatever. A new threat lurks deep beneath the sands of Kyrgyzstan, where the loom, an ancient technology designed by Zoltan Kul and Ayuzhan of Chaldeum, has been usurped by the forces of evil. The demon Malphus is responsible for twisting the loom for his cruel whims. Zoltan's former companion, Ayuzhan, leads you through the treacherous vaults, desperate to stop the formidable Malphus and his deadly construct from overtaking Sanctuary. Travel to Gate Hall. They talked about Gate Hall. It's like a town center. So a town center underneath the Kyrgyzstan that serves as your base of operations in the fight against the constructs. The Gate Hall is your conduit to access the deadly vaults riddled with elemental hazards and constructs. These vaults are the key to harnessing the true potential of the loom. Travel to the loom and stop the threat at its source and defeat Malphus in a new boss fight. To play the Season of the Construct seasonal questline, you must create a new character of the seasonal realm and have completed the main campaign. Take advantage of this skip campaign feature once you've completed the prologue if you want to jump right in. Battle side by side with your sensual companion. So basically everybody gets a pet now. Wield the power of the loom by acquiring your very own essential companion, which becomes available during the seasonal quest line. In Zoltan's vision of the Essential complements your adventures by engaging directly in the fight or aiding you dutifully on the sidelines. And using the magical governing and tuning stones recovered from the vaults and elsewhere in Sanctuary, augment your Sensual to best suit your targeted build for Season of Construct. Governing stones determine which attacks your Sensual can perform, while tuning stones will augment those skills and provide greater utility. You can equip your Sensual with 2 governing stones and 6 tuning stones, 1 governing stone for each attack and 3 tuning stones to augment the ability. There are 12 governing stones and 27 different tuning stones of different varieties to seek out in the vaults to unlock the full power of the Essential Construct. Interesting. So 2 stones, 2 attacks, 12 stones with 2 attacks each is like 24 basically combinations of attacks. And then 6 stones that actually tune those. It's a pretty large number of combinations. I mean, if we just like do that on a calculator real quick, I mean, that's what, like 12 times 2, right? So 12 times 2 is just 24. And then 24 times 6 gives us a total of about 144 different combinations for the Sensual. Not exactly sure how many of those will be interesting, but what I'm assuming is we're going to have offensive, defensive, and like utility. That's probably going to be what we're looking at, the 3 different types. So offensive is just going to be something that's pure offense, does lots of damage. Defensive is going to be something that helps us defensively, like a barrier or some sort of damage reduction. And then utility might be something that like slows down the monster or chills them or freezes them or something. Something that's going to help us that's not necessarily damage, but it's very useful. That's my thinking. And we got to look at the panel here. You can see some of the names of these: the Genesis, the Evernight, Tactical Support. There's a bunch of interesting ones. Tuning and governing stones can be acquired in a few different ways. Complete vaults to earn 1 random tuning stone and seek out a ward-woven chest to earn additional tuning stones, both of which can be earned through various levels of season journeys. Both types also have a low chance to appear as drops when playing Vaults and Arcane Tremors. Defeating an enemy construct within the Vaults will also grant a Shattered Stone, which can be crafted into governing and tuning stones at jewelers found throughout the Sanctuary. To unlock the full power of the stones, you will need to increase their raw power by leveling them, collect or craft duplicates of the same stones, fuse them together to grant experience, and eventually level up your currently held stones. Increasing the level of these stones increases the potency and ability of these attacks. Increasing the level of your tuning stones can add additional projectiles or augment the damage type they perform. Once you've acquired your Sensual, they'll follow you around everywhere in Sanctuary until the season of the construct ends. Below is a full list of governing and tuning stones available for the Sensual companion. Governing stones: the auto defense. The Sensual construct activates an anti-material field around itself, shooting down enemy projectiles. Cannot shoot down boss, player, or player projectiles. So a defensive, very, very interesting defensive. I mean, basically just prevents you from getting hit from ranged attacks. Bushwhack: quickly ambush, dealing damage to each target, may strike the same target multiple times. Firefly: deploy a small construct that lands on the target and explodes 3 times, dealing damage. Focus Fire: the Sensual construct channels a ray of fire onto targets, dealing damage over time to each over time. Gyrate: the Sensual, sorry, I'm a kid. The Sensual construct whirls its legs around, quickly dealing damage to all surrounding enemies. Kind of sounds like Whirlwind. Impale: perform a line attack to all enemies in front of the Sensual construct, dealing damage. Lightning Bolt: launch a bolt of lightning at the target, dealing damage. Arcs to other targets, dealing a portion of the original damage. Protect: the Sensual construct materializes a protective barrier on the player for a portion of their maximum life. Reconstruct: the Sensual construct channels a reconstructive beam, healing the player for a portion of their maximum life over time. Slash: pummel enemies in front of the Sensual construct, dealing damage. Tempest: electrically charge an enemy, causing it to deal damage to themselves and additional enemies each second over time. If the enemy is killed, Tempest spreads to another enemy, gaining additional time and bonus damage. These bonuses are also applied if the Tempest is reapplied onto the same enemy. Flash of Adrenaline administers a quick flash of adrenaline into the player, granting bonus damage for a duration. And then we got the tuning stones. Luminous support. The supported skill's effect size is increased. Swift support. The supported skill gains an attack speed bonus. Braking support. Damage from the supported skill instantly destroys enemy barrier effects. In addition, there is a chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. Tactical support. Decrease the cooldown of the supported skill. Efficiency support. When the supporting skill deals damage, you gain critical strike chance to the same target's hit. Devastation support. Supported skills gain a critical strike damage bonus. I mean, these all seem rather generic and honestly kind of cool. Like, I like this, like increasing the size of it, because like it's very generic and like you can apply this to pretty much any of these. I mean, some of these seem like they would be really useful. Like Swift support definitely seems like it wouldn't be useful for Focus Fire, which seems to be a channeling ability, and channeling abilities aren't affected by attack speed, so that doesn't seem like a good one. Safeguard support. When used, the supported skill grants a damage reduction to you. Frigid support. A portion of the supported skill's damage dealt is applied as cold damage over time and applies a chill. An easy way to obtain a chill. Burning support. A portion of the supported skill's damage is applied as burning damage over time. Burning enemies take bonus critical strike damage from the essential construct. Electrocution support. A portion of the supported skill's damage is dealt as lightning damage over time and has a chance to stun enemies. Bleeding support. A portion of the supported skill's damage dealt is applied as bleeding damage over time. Enemies take a bonus bleeding damage from all sources while moving. Poison support. A portion of the supported skill's damage is applied as poison damage over time. This poison has a chance each second to spread all poison damage to an additional enemy. I mean, a lot of these seem really interesting, actually. Like just the way that you can like totally customize exactly how the Senshal is working. Dusk support. A portion of the supported skill's damage is applied as shadow damage over time. Afflicted enemies who attack have a chance for their attacks to be interrupted. Does not interrupt bosses. So what this is doing, and it's interesting because if you can add this kind of stuff to your Senshal, you can have basically like free shadow or free poison or whatever. And there's a lot of skills within the game that will trigger, like say, like if a monster is affected by shadow damage, when you attack them, you get like this additional bonus, or if the monster is poisoned when you attack them, you get this additional bonus, right? So this could be your way of having additional damage types on the enemy to gain those effects. Duration support. Supported skills have their durations increased. Fortify support. When the essential construct uses the supported skill, you gain Fortify. Skills with slower attack speeds or skills with cooldowns will increase the amount of Fortify granted. Resource support. Players gain an amount of primary resource when the supporting skill first deals damage. So that's a way that you can just like have resource regeneration there. Initiative support. The supported skill will cause the Sensual Construct to teleport to the target if out of range. Can only occur once every so often seconds. What the hell? Arcing support. The supported skill can hit additional enemies. Multi-shot support. Supported projectile skills launch additional projectiles. Piercing support. The supported projectile skill will pierce multiple enemies. Sounds like you could pretty much set up Amazon. The gripping support. The damage and effects done by the supporting skills to distant enemies pulls them towards the central construct. Can only occur once every so often per enemy. Registered damage support. Any damage caused from the supported skill is registered. The registered damage explodes at effectiveness when the target dies as fire damage. Explodes at effectiveness. Any damage caused from the supported skill is registered. Okay, so it builds up. The building up of the damage explodes at its maximum potential when the target dies. So it basically turns them into a bomb. That's kind of interesting. Seeking support. The supported projectile will auto-seek enemies for a limited duration. Slowing support. Damage from the supported skills slows enemy movement speed for a limited duration, which is good for anybody that needs an additional like crowd control to get that crowd control bonus damage. Enemies may be slowed up to to a maximum amount. Mockery support. Damage done by the supporting skill taunts enemies hit for a limited duration. This can only occur once every so often per enemy. Does not work on bosses. Scholars have spoken in hushed whispers concerning rumors of fabled tuning stones far beyond the capable power of mere mortals. Their existence is ephemeral, never confirmed by a dignified mage of high ranking. All that is known of them is written below: Evernight and Genesis. And they actually have that in the screenshot up here, by the way. There's a Evernight and a Genesis, both equipped right there. So we don't know what they are, but they're totally in the game. I mean, it sounds kind of interesting. There's a lot of different ways you can set up the pet. Is the pet going to be useful? I don't know. Like, how much damage does he do? Even if he's completely useless in the damage department, it looks like you can still set him up as a like entirely support character with heals, barriers, fortification, slows, chills, etc. So it doesn't look like it's impossible to make the Sensual useful, even if he's not useful in one way or the other. Like, you can find a way to make him useful. Test yourself in a new deadly dungeon vaults. While Iuzan slept, Malphus grew in strength, harnessing the awesome power of the loom and corrupting the vast network of vaults lying dormant. Originally armed to keep out any demonic influence, the various hazards implemented now protect the forces of evil they once kept at bay. The vaults are specialized dungeons that house elemental hazards devised by Zoltan Kulle and Iuzan themselves. Among the hazards lay the constructs, an entirely new monster family. Several elemental variants of these monsters lurk in wait for any suspecting wanderer to fall into their mechanical clutches. It's like a scorpion. Upon entering the vault after converting the required pearls of warding, you can be blessed by Zoltan's warding, a special layered blessing which grants access to riches within the vaults. Zoltan's warding diminishes stack by stack if you manage to fall prey to various hazards scattered throughout the vaults. If you manage to keep Zoltan's warding intact after defeating the vault boss, you'll unlock a ward-woven chest, which has a higher chance of granting legendary items. Using pearls of warding can increase the risk by exchanging them for extra stacks. Zoltan's warding at the vault entrance succeed, and your reward will be increased as well. So basically, like, you could go in with no pearls of warding and just try to avoid all the traps, and if you avoid all the traps and succeed, then you get like a really good reward. But if you say, like say there's 10 traps and you have 10 pearls and you use 10 pearls so that you can just walk through the 10 traps, it sounds like the reward will be much less. At World Tier 3, Nightmare Vaults unlock. Vault sigils will drop alongside typical Nightmare Dungeon sigils, or they can be crafted, which will require Pearls of Warding to create. These vaults function similar to Nightmare Dungeons, however, they will have deadly constructs and hazards scattered throughout, and the ward-woven chests for the savvy wanderer. Starts the spread of arcane rumors. Malphus seeks to unleash deadly constructs upon Sanctuary, pouring from the underground vault to terrorize innocent and sinful alike. Dismantle deadly traps, destroy lesser and elite constructs to earn a shattered stone. Dispatching elite constructs grants pearls of warding, which can be used to earn higher valued rewards from the replaying vaults. Negate the arcane tremor by defeating the vault's mighty herald construct, securing tenuous space, peace, and the denizens above. Coming soon, the leaderboards arrive with the gauntlet. So this is not something that happens right now. It's actually something that happens later. A new challenge arrives later in the season of the construct. Fight through the gauntlet, a weekly rotating fixed dungeon that will have you competing for the top spot of the leaderboards. Only the strongest will emerge to claim their place on the weekly leaderboards. The top weekly scores will earn their permanent place in the Hall of the Ancients. More details on the arrival of the gauntlet will be available in a future blog. They talked about the gauntlet being this place where basically you collect these proofs of like might or whatever, and like the goal is to kill as many monsters as you can as fast as you can and collect as many proofs as you can within a time frame, and then that puts you on like a leaderboard of like how many proofs you collected in a certain time frame, and that's how they explained it anyway. The quality of life updates in the season of Construct. So they have kept the HellTide change from season 2, where they basically made HellTides nearly permanent, with a small delay in between them. WASD movement has been added for PC. So for those of you who are interested in WASD movement, we got that. Extra stash tabs. An extra stash tab is now available. It can definitely use more space. Various other quality of life updates. We have also made improvements to reallocating your skill tree, improvements to UI when trading, increased gold rates to earn the items needed to summon the beast in the ice, um, and more. So this is like respec mode, refund nodes and paths or re-add them. So I guess it just allows you to see, like, to play around with the tree without actually spending any gold. And then once you've got everything how you want it, you like hit the button, confirm it, and it like does everything. I guess that's kind of neat. Because otherwise, you're pretty much just like spending gold nonstop, just like swapping and swapping skills in and out. So in this way, you can not spend all your gold immediately. Gold's not really that big of an issue, but I mean it's nice. Stay tuned for our full patch notes for the Season of Construct, which will be available on January 19th. Nice. They also have the developer conference, which is tomorrow, so we'll be going over that. And they, of course, they have the new season's battle pass, which is probably going to have some new cosmetics and horses and things. As you eradicate the menacing machinations of the loom, you'll earn rewards from the season journey and battle pass. The season journey is broken into chapters with tasks to complete. As you progress through the journey, you'll earn rewards befitting Sanctuary's defenders, such as new legendary aspects, the Awoken Adamant Armor, which unlocks across various higher tiers, and 3 Skulls of Amnesia, which provide free skill tree and Paragon board reset. I'm really kind of confused about these because it doesn't really cost that much to reset your board, and they come so late. By the time you end up getting them, like on the pass, they come so late that you kind of just like don't even need them. Most of the time, I won't even use them. I actually have a bunch of them just sitting in my stash that I got from the last season journey. The journey also provides favor, the resource to use to climb through the battle pass tiers, which can be earned naturally through playing aspects of the game as well. So we're going to have the season blessing or whatever, right? The season of the Construct Battle Pass begins on January 23rd, 10 a.m. PST, and hosts 90 tier rewards, free tier, 28 free tiers, and 62 premium tiers. If you get the premium battle pass, not only will the reward free tiers be yours to wield, but Awoken armor sets, platinum, and more also await you. For example, the Awoken spheral barding mount and Awoken clockwork equid mount unlock at tier 90. It's actually kind of interesting because they do give you platinum from the battle pass, and I actually got like the first battle pass for free because it came with the game, of course, as part of the pack. And literally, I got enough platinum from that one to afford the battle pass for the next one, so I didn't really even have to like spend any money on the second battle pass or the third one for that matter, because so the first one gave me enough for the second one, and I think the second one gave me enough for the third one too. So I'll have to take a look. If you decide to embrace the destructive terror and get accelerated seasonal battle pass, you'll also receive 20 tier skips, the spinning loom emote. Smoldering ashes earned from the free tiers can be spent on season blessings that provide helpful bonuses to beat back Hell's army. There are 3 new blessings for the Season of Construct. Urn of Enduring Grace boosts the duration of shrine effects. Urn of Tuning, a chance to receive additional tuning stones from the Wardwoven chest. Urn of Whispers boosts the chance to receive greater collection from Whisper rewards. The bonuses gained from the 5 seasons blessings only last until the end of the Season of the Construct. Acquired Fable Threads from Tejal's shop, so this is new. What do you call it? Cosmetics, new cosmetics from the shop. It's a really freaking cool looking graphic there, though. It's like a freaking, what was that, like a samurai or something? Let's save the samurai. I'm saving the samurai. We're dialing up the heat in the shop with new equipment, armor accessories, mount and mount armor bundles that will have you slaying in style. Starting on January 23rd, you'll want to pay Tejal a visit, so she's going to have new cosmetics. I mean, it's not really that big a deal. One such rare find from her far reaches of Sanctuary is the Barbarian Lord Eater cosmetic bundle, which contains the Lord Eater's armor set, 2 Lord Eater weapon cosmetics, and Lord Eater's legend. If this is the Lord Eater, that looks really cool. It's like a samurai. A really cool samurai. And then, of course, stay up to date. We have the developer live stream on the 18th, which is coming tomorrow. I've got a live stream set up for that. And we'll also be going over the patch notes on the 19th when those drop as well. So look forward to that. I'm kind of interested to see how this construct goes. Pets have not been very well received by the community. The Necromancer, which is the pet lord, people just sacrifice all the pets and they don't use them. I personally like using the necromancer's pets. I think they're fun, but it really comes down to how they set up the game, right? If they set it up so that the pets are not worth using, well then the pets aren't worth using. And if this thing ends up being worthless and not really all that great, I mean, we're basically going to be playing Eternal Realm. Because if you think about it, Eternal Realm is basically no seasonal mechanics, right? Well, if we get into this game and it basically the Sensual's kind of useless and it doesn't really feel like it really does anything, then we're basically going to be playing the base game with a pet. So it's just going to be the Eternal Realm with a pet. I'm kind of curious to see how this goes. If they nail the pet, if the pet is useful, then yeah, we're probably gonna have fun with it. If the pet isn't useful, it's gonna be like a complete failure. I we'll see. I'm interested to see these patch notes. I want to see what they've changed. I also am very interested to see if they've done any balancing, because they did basically no balancing whatsoever in Season 2, and they just let the exploits run wild. Snapshot exploits, freaking all sorts of crazy stuff going on. Like the Shred Druid, literally, the difference between a snapshotted Shred Druid and a regular Shred Druid is massive. Like, I don't know if you've recently seen the one Shred Druid that did like 1 trillion damage or something like that. There's a screenshot of it floating around. But that's a snapshot screenshot. And snapshotting is basically where you can get like the effect of like 2 key passives at the same time, or you can get the effect of an aspect without actually having to wear that aspect. It's a pretty big exploit within Diablo 4 right now, which is the ability to snapshot multiple aspects or key passives or all sorts of other crazy things. Snapshotting usually involves putting the item on when you create the dungeon and then taking it off when you get into the dungeon, and then switching out the skill to the appropriate skill so that you have basically like 2 key passives running at the same time, or 2 or 3 aspects running at the same time that you're not actually wearing. So I want to see if they're actually fixing some of this stuff, especially with the snapshotting. It's one thing to let everybody run wild and just have fun with the game. It's a whole other thing to just allow a huge exploit within the game that is something that most people don't know about. Like if this is the first time you've heard of snapshotting, then you're the exact person that I'm talking about, and the proof of exactly why it's something that should be patched out. Because if you don't know it exists, if it requires special training to teach you how to use this exploit, then it's the kind of exploit that literally doesn't belong in the game. Some exploits do belong in the game, and it might be controversial, but it's just how it is. Like, there are some exploits that actually will be, like incorporated into a game as like features, right? You get like bugs as features or exploits as features. But when it comes to something that is out of the way and difficult to do, that you have to actually like teach somebody to do, so that like less than 1% of the population of the game literally even knows how to do it, and like has to look up a YouTube video on the steps required, that's the kind of stuff that needs to be removed. Those kind of exploits are literally things that only like certain people are even abusing, and those people are abusing it because they actually know how to do it, and then the rest of the community doesn't even know that it exists, because it's not something that you're ever going to like stumble across normally. Let me know what you guys think about the new season so far. I'm not really sure what to think about the pet. I really need to get in the game and play with the pet, the Sensual, whatever you want to call it. I feel like the Sensual is one of those things that it's either going to be amazing or it's going to suck, and there's probably going to be no in between. So we'll see. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals joining me for these videos, even when we're just covering Diablo 4 Season 3. And as always, keep watching.